Hi, Bourbon family. Whiskey Phoenix here. How are you doing on this terrible Tuesday? Again, it's the day after Monday, so it's terrible. Just terrible. Anyway, coming to you today with your daily bourbon review. And it seems like for some reason I'm like on a theme here lately because the one I want to do today also happened to be a limited release, and that is the new Riff Balboa Rye. And I swear I think I'd have to go back and look at my videos, but I'm pretty sure this is like the third limited release review that I've done. But hey, I'm going with what I have in my bourbon collection. So, I love my research. And during that research, I guess New Riff in 2019 first released the Balboa Rye. And then they released in 2025. From what it says on the back, they use well, let's just see what it says. It says New Riff's acclaimed Balboa Rye whiskey highlights the exotic flavors of this 1933 vintage heirloom rye grain. Exquisite floral and fruited notes sprinkled with rye spice abound in this multiple award-winning whiskey. This comes in a mash bill of 95% Balboa rye and 5% malted barley, and it's aged at least 4 years. This is also a bottle and bond. As is with most New Riff, it's done without chill filtration, and this is coming in right at 100 proof as it needs to be if they're going to label it bottle and bond. I just think it's really interesting as well, with a little more research that I did, that New Riff Standard Rye features grain that comes from Brooks grain, but the Fogg family farm in Indiana provides the Balboa Rye exclusively for New Riff Distillery. So I thought that was pretty cool in my research. I mean, of course, when I got the bottle, I read the back of it, and but it didn't, my research, it didn't say that on the back of the bottle. So this comes in at an MSRP of $55. I'm sure you're going to pay double or triple that if you look for it on the secondary market. I'm not sure. Well, see, I got it at cost. And I really, really, really wanted this. And it was gone when it first released. I couldn't get my hands on it at all. And then, of course, my favorite liquor store in Bellevue, Kentucky, the Party Source, somehow ended up having it back on their shelves. And it was like, oh, I have a gold medal find. I was super, super stoked. I was so bummed to have missed it because I had just heard so many good things about it from so many different people in the bourbon community. And I was just like, these 9-to-5 jobs really suck. At least I was working at that time, and the 9-to-5 job just did not work for me in order for me to be able to get my hands on this. Now, again, a little bit of my research, just kind of trying to look what, people's overall impressions were as far as reviews went. A lot of them just kind of stated that the reviewers kind of highlight the balance of this, noting that it's softer than, your typical ryes can be hot and spicy, so to speak. But this one, a lot of the reviewers were saying is, more of a soft, easy sipper. And, they enjoyed it because it was versatile enough to be enjoyed, neat or as a Manhattan. And I'm like, oh, wait, I think I need to make a Manhattan out of this. But I really enjoy it neat myself. So yeah, that was, a little bit of what I found out, like I said, doing my research. This comes in at a really nice, it's almost like I'd give it like it looks like kind of like medium amber. Although as I swirl it in the glass and look through it, it almost reminds me of rose gold. You know, the rose gold jewelry that you can buy. Okay, so let's get into this. Well, yeah, let's get into this nose. I love this. I'm getting right away a little bit of orange zest. A little bit of toasted oak. And you know me and my ryes, I'm always searching for that mint or spearmint. I'm not really getting the mint on the nose. Just more, to me, it's almost even a little sweet on the nose. But more than anything, I'm really just kind of getting that orange zest and the toasted oak. All right, let's get this first sip out of the way. I do like the fingers on this. I'd call this maybe like a light viscosity. They are taking their time coming down, and they are, you know, kind of like coating. Even I can like see them running down in the front where I was swirling it. All right, second taste. You do get a little bit of the rice spice, but it's not your typical hot and spicy rice spice. I'm picking up a little bit of butterscotch. I really enjoy the mouthfeel. That orange zest that you get on the nose, kind of on the palate gives way to like orange itself, or like if you bit down into like the orange rind. Maybe even a little bit of toasted oak. I'm giggling because I remember the more I sipped on this the first time, the finish, you get, you know, a little bit of a lingering spice. Like I said, it's not that hot spice like some ryes can give you. And then there's that mint that comes through on the finish. You get a little bit of cinnamon spice with it. You know, the rice spice, I think, stays on the palate. But I'd have to say overall on the finish, while it's not a hot and spicy finish, it's definitely, you know, a warm, spicy finish, soft spicy. Maybe that's what I'm looking for. Well, I'll go soft spicy. Or maybe you might consider it warm. But overall, this is just, to me, a very approachable rye. And it may even be, might be something to be considered a starter rye, but I hate to say that because it's done in such, you know, a limited release. The reason why I say I would like to say it would be a nice starter rye is because it's not the hot and spicy rye that some can be. But honestly, I mean, when I think back, like even the Jefferson's Reserve rye could be like a good beginner's rye whiskey, because to me the Jefferson's doesn't finish like super hot and spicy, and it's got a lot of that mint that I love. So yeah, there you have it, the new Riff Balboa rye 2025 limited release edition. I give this this is definitely in the top 5 of my ryes. As a matter of fact, this probably ranks number 1 right now if I was to just break everything down into these are my top 5 ryes, these are my wheateds. This is like number 1 if I'm just this is a 10 out of 10 if I'm just judging ryes. But at the same time, this is gonna, if I decide to do an overall top 10 of 2025, this is easily gonna be in the top 5 of my all-time bourbons that I've tried this year, because this comes in at a solid 9.9 out of 10 for me. Again, I'm kind of staying with the, rating scale of 10 right now. Just my OCD sometimes kicks in and doesn't allow me like to change things up in the middle of, while I'm doing things, and just kind of like start fresh in 2026. But yeah, there you have it. If you have had the new Riff Balboa rye, put in the comments what you thought of it. I'd be curious to see. As always, I'll put New Riff Distillery's link in the comments. Don't forget your hang light gummies. I talk about them because they help to sponsor me, and purchasing them and using the referral code in my bio along with the discount code of Kim10. Kim10 helps me out as well. So there you have it on this terrible Tuesday. I hope you enjoyed today's review, and as always, please drink responsibly, and I'll see you in the next one.